let's talk about Indiana for a second, because this is a team, first off, preseason favorite in the Big Ten. For them to go on the road as well as they've been playing as of late. Look, Trayce Jackson-Davis still at 18 points, 20 rebounds. I mean, he's been putting up insane numbers. If Zach Edey wasn't in the Big Ten, I think the conversation, we'd be talking about Trayce Jackson-Davis mostly.
Yeah.
With that, which is crazy to say, but what sticks out to me most tonight, Jalen Hood-Schifino goes 1 for 14 from the field. And that absolutely killed them, John.
Yeah, they need him to play well. Couple of previous games he did play really, especially at Illinois. He's played really well. And hats off to Trayce Jackson-Davis. He's like, look, I'm not letting this ship go down without a fight. I mean, he's been putting up some monster numbers, monster stat lines. And I watched him the other day, and it's almost like he's figuring out, like, all right, I'm a grown man, and I don't know if these dudes can guard me. And he's been playing like that. But when Hood-Schifino goes 1 for 14, they don't have enough pieces to overcome that, and that's what happened tonight.
It's not just him, too. I mean, like Tamar Bates, another guy. Maryland basically sat on their 3-point shooters, is what happened, and then doubled off of the non-shooters from Indiana when they did double. So Tamar Bates can't get loose. Hood-Schifino is being hassled all game long, and then Miller Kopp, I mean, he was fine. What, he ended up 3 for 7, 1 for 4 from 3. You got to have, you got to have more people. You got to have more people contribute from the, outside. If that happens, Indiana's good. If it doesn't happen, it's really hard for Trayce Jackson-Davis to carry you, because he's carrying you by scoring twos.
Yep.
So that's kind of that's your hard part, is like, can you be an absolute dominant team if you're not shooting the ball well and your best player is only scoring twos? Like Purdue shoots it well.
Yeah, well, and Indiana's next game is Purdue, hosting them at home this weekend. So that's going to be huge. It's going to be a freaking blast of a matchup when you have Zach Edey going against Trayce Jackson-Davis. So that's going to be, if you like post players, that is the game for you. But keep in mind, Indiana hasn't had Xavier Johnson for quite a while now, and it seems that they were starting to get a groove without him. No word on when he's coming back yet, but this is still a team, in my opinion, that can make a run. This Purdue game is going to be very telling down the stretch, though, of where exactly Indiana is going to fit in as we get closer to tournament time. Northwestern, Iowa. Northwestern, this was a makeup game because of COVID. Iowa's going to pull away in this one. They end up winning by 16. Hey, is this Iowa team, finally the real deal? Are you convinced? Have they done enough offensively for you to say this is a tournament team, Tio?
They're fun to watch. I'll give Iowa that. They're fun to watch. They got to win more games. They lost to Eastern Illinois, and apparently that's bad for the net. That's going to be a reoccurring theme. The net is bad for the net. Hey, look, it's going to be a reoccurring theme. It's probably bad for the net. Loss at Nebraska, probably bad for the net. They started out 0-3 in conference.
Lost to Eastern Illinois.
Eastern Illinois, bad for the net. At Nebraska, bad for the net. No, offensively, it's a fun team to watch, guys. I mean, they fly up the court. They play freely. They move the basketball. It's a lot of fun to watch. But 13-8, like, I know they're 33rd in KenPom. They're probably like 8th in the net. So I think it's one of those things. Like, I have no idea. Do they look like a tournament team? They could be a 9-10 seed. I could see that. I could understand squeezing them in that 8-9 line and then playing well enough to, compete in the first game and then get blitzed by the number 1 seed overall. I could see that happening with Iowa, but I could see that happening with a lot. There's just no direction because the net's so confusing.
They're too inconsistent for me. I mean, you beat a team tonight by 16. That's pretty good. And then, you have these head scratching losses or games where you're just like, nobody understands what happened. So they're a team to keep an eye on, but they've got to be more consistent because they're kind of a team that down the stretch, they could falter and they could be out of it. That's how inconsistent they are to me. And so I'm not buying anything on Iowa right now. They've got to put some strings of games together where they at least are consistent in their play per se.
Keep in mind, this is an Iowa team, last year that did make a run in February into March and did have this, obviously fell out of the tournament kind of short, but that did go on to win the Big Ten tournament. Anytime you can score at the level they can, you give yourself a chance. You just got to defend.